Chosen one, why did God let you lose everything in 2008? Why did that diagnosis come at 67 instead of 27? Why are you still here, still breathing, still fighting when 3 people you knew who were younger, healthier, richer than you are already 6 feet under? I'll tell you why. Because hell wanted you dead before you figured out what you carry. Chosen one, stop scrolling, right now, this second, because 5 times God has tried to warn you, and this is the final time, the last alarm before the trap springs shut. You felt it 3 days ago, didn't you? That heaviness in your chest, that whisper in your spirit that said, don't do it, not yet. You felt it when that phone rang with that opportunity. You felt it when that person suddenly came back into your life after years of silence. You felt it when your mind started racing with that brilliant plan at 2 a.m., but you ignored it. Because it looked like favor. It sounded like breakthrough. It felt like finally, after all these decades of waiting, crying, praying, something good was finally happening. That's exactly how traps work. Listen to me carefully, beloved. The air around you right now, it's heavy. You feel it, don't you? That's not anxiety. That's not your blood pressure. That's the atmosphere shifting, because heaven is moving chess pieces you cannot see. Angels are repositioning, demons are scrambling, and you are standing at the crossroads between the greatest blessing of your life and the most devastating detour hell ever designed. Something is watching your next move, and I don't mean that metaphorically. In Ephesians 6:12, Paul warned us, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age." That means the trap isn't a person, it's not a situation, it's not even a mistake. It's a calculated spiritual ambush designed specifically for you because of what you're about to step into. The enemy doesn't set traps for people who don't matter. He doesn't waste ammunition on empty targets. But you've been in hell's crosshairs for years because your destiny terrifies the kingdom of darkness. Now, before I go any deeper, because what I'm about to reveal could literally save you years of heartbreak, I want to pause and say something from my heart. I see you. Every single one of you who has been supporting this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here, your support, your time, your attention. It all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and let your heart guide you. But know this, your value to God isn't measured by what you give. It's measured by who you are. And you, chosen one, are priceless. Now, let's talk about this trap. It looks harmless. It looks like opportunity. A phone call from someone you used to know. A business deal that makes perfect sense. A romantic interest who says all the right things. A ministry position that feeds your ego. A financial investment that promises quick returns. But here's what your spirit knows that your mind is trying to rationalize. If God closed that door 5 years ago, why is it suddenly swinging open now? You see, the enemy studies you. He watches what makes you cry at night. He knows what you've been praying for in secret. He understands your weaknesses, your need for validation, your hunger for recognition, your desperation to finally prove everyone wrong who said you'd never make it. And then, at the exact moment when you're most vulnerable, most tired of waiting, most ready to compromise, he shows up dressed as answered prayer. That's why God has been trying to warn you 5 times. Through dreams that wake you at 3 a.m. Through that sermon that seemed to speak directly to your situation. Through your own hesitation that you keep calling fear when it's actually divine caution. Through that friend who randomly texted you saying, "Pray before you make that move." Through this very message, finding you right now at this exact moment. This isn't coincidence. This is interception. Heaven just crashed your timeline with a final warning. You didn't stumble here. You were summoned. God said, If I don't reach them now, if they don't hear this message tonight, they're going to walk straight into something that will cost them years, not days, not months, years of destiny, peace, relationships, and divine positioning gone, because you thought you knew better than God's pause. So here's what I need you to do right now, and I'm not asking, I'm instructing as someone who sees what's coming. Type in the comments, "I hear you, Lord." Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. If your spirit just jumped when I said that, type it. Because that's the signal to heaven that you're finally paying attention. And don't you dare leave this video, because what I'm about to show you in the next few minutes will explain why God delayed your plans, why doors closed when you were so close, and why silence was actually mercy disguising itself as rejection. Before this hour ends, you're going to understand something that's going to change how you see every no, every setback, every disappointment for the rest of your life. The trap is real, but so is God's protection. And the only question that matters now is, are you finally ready to mind your own business and let heaven mind yours? Stay with me. Your destiny is quite literally depending on what you hear next. What if the blessing you've been begging God for is actually the weapon hell's been sharpening against you? What if the answer to your prayers is coming, but it's not from heaven? What if that door finally opening isn't God saying yes, but the enemy saying, "Got you"? You need to hear this, because right now, in this very moment, some of you are standing inches away from the most beautiful trap ever designed with your name engraved on it. The enemy never uses ugliness. He uses imitation. He doesn't show up with horns and a pitchfork. He shows up in a three-piece suit with a contract that makes sense. He doesn't announce himself with thunder. He whispers in a voice that sounds remarkably like wisdom. He doesn't attack with obvious evil. He seduces with counterfeit good. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. The most dangerous traps don't look like traps. They look like opportunities. They feel like favor. They smell like breakthrough. And that's exactly what makes them lethal. It's the sugar on the poison apple, the handshake that hides a knife, the smile that smells like sulfur. In 2 Corinthians 11:14, Paul warns us with words that should make every believer tremble. Even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. Did you catch that? Angel of light. Not demon of darkness. Not monster of nightmares. Angel of light. That means the thing that's about to destroy you will look holy. It will sound spiritual. It will feel anointed. And if you're not careful, you'll call it a blessing right up until the moment it becomes your burial. Think about Eve in the garden, Genesis chapter 3. The serpent didn't come offering sin, he came offering wisdom. He didn't promise destruction, he promised enlightenment. "You will be like God," he whispered. And technically, he wasn't even lying. The fruit would open her eyes, it would give her knowledge. Everything he said was true, except for the part he left out, the death that would follow. Eve's trap wasn't sin. It was curiosity dressed as spiritual growth. And beloved, that's the same playbook being used against you right now. The enemy knows what you hunger for. He's been watching you for decades. He knows you're tired of waiting. He knows you're exhausted from believing. He knows you've been faithful for 70 years, and you're wondering when your harvest is coming. So he shows up. Not as temptation, but as opportunity. It could be that phone call that feels too good to be true. That old friend from 40 years ago suddenly reaching out with a business opportunity that promises to solve all your financial struggles. It sounds perfect. It feels timely. But why now? Why after all these years of silence? It could be that sudden friendship that feels familiar. Someone new walks into your life, and within weeks, you're telling them things you've never told your own children. They finish your sentences. They understand your pain. They validate your wounds. But there's something you can't quite put your finger on. A red flag your spirit sees, but your loneliness ignores. It could be that romantic interest who says everything you've been dying to hear. After your spouse passed, after years of loneliness, someone finally sees you again. They make you feel young. They make you feel wanted. But there's a voice in your spirit whispering, something's off. And you keep silencing it because you're so tired of being alone. It could be that ministry position that feeds your ego. Finally, after decades of serving in the shadows, someone recognizes your gift. They want you on the platform. They want you leading. They want you visible. And it feels like vindication. But that same opportunity requires you to compromise just a little. Bend the truth just slightly. Overlook some questionable practices. It's for the greater good, they say. It could be that financial investment that promises quick returns. You're living on a fixed income. Social Security barely covers your medications. Then someone presents an opportunity, guaranteed returns, minimal risk, just sign here. Your mind is screaming yes because you need this, but your spirit is whispering wait. That voice, that whisper, that hesitation you keep calling fear. Chosen one, that's not fear. That's the Holy Spirit trying to save your life. Here's what you need to understand. We're living in what I call the Great Test. A season where every chosen one is being presented with options that look identical to God's will, but come from a completely different source. This isn't about obvious sin. This is about subtle substitution. The test isn't, will you choose evil over good? The test is, can you tell the difference between what's God sent and what's hell manufactured? Because they look the same, they sound the same, sometimes they even feel the same. The only difference is the source and the destination. One leads to glory, the other leads to a grave you'll dig with your own hands while calling it obedience. You're at the age where you should have discernment. You've walked with God long enough to know His voice. You've been through enough battles to recognize the enemy's tactics. But here's what hell is counting on. Your desperation has made you vulnerable. Your weariness has made you willing to accept anything that resembles an answer. And that's exactly when the trap springs. I need you to understand something that could save your destiny. The enemy's greatest weapon isn't temptation, it's timing. He doesn't attack when you're strong. He attacks when you're tired of waiting, when you're 3 months behind on rent, when the doctor just gave you bad news, when your children haven't called in 6 months, when you're so desperate for something to change that you'll sign anything, accept anything, believe anything. That's when he shows up, not with a pitchfork, with a pen and a contract that promises to end your suffering. But look at what Jesus said in Matthew 4. After 40 days of fasting, at his weakest point, Satan came. And he didn't come with sin, he came with scripture. He quoted the Bible. He offered solutions that made logical sense. Turn these stones to bread. You're hungry. You have the power. God wouldn't want you to starve. It all made sense, except it was still a trap. Chosen one, I need you to do something right now. Type discernment in the comments if you're asking God to sharpen your spirit. Because some of you are one yes away from walking into a trap that will cost you everything you've spent 70 years building. The enemy is patient. He'll wait decades for the right moment. He'll study your patterns, learn your weaknesses, memorize your prayers. And then, when you're most vulnerable, he'll deliver a counterfeit answer wrapped in the exact packaging you've been asking God for. How do you know the difference? How do you tell what's from God and what's from hell when they both show up looking like answered prayer? Here's the truth that's going to set you free. God's blessings never require you to rush. Hell's traps always come with urgency. God's doors open with peace. Hell's doors open with pressure. God's opportunities give you time to pray. Hell's opportunities expire at midnight. If someone is pushing you to decide now, sign now, commit now, that's not God. That's not favor. That's a trap with a timer. Heaven doesn't warn where there's no danger. If this word found you, it means something's already moving. Something's already in motion. And God is trying to get your attention before you make a decision you can't undo. So before you say yes to that opportunity, before you open that door, before you shake that hand, pause, pray, and ask God one simple question. Is this you, or is this the enemy wearing your cologne? Because the trap is real. It's already been set. and it's waiting for you to take just one more step. But here's what hell didn't count on. You're not walking alone anymore. And what I'm about to show you next will give you the exact blueprint for recognizing the difference between divine doors and demonic detours. Stay with me, because the next few minutes will determine whether you walk into your destiny or your destruction. You called it rejection. God called it redirection. Let me tell you about Margaret from Brooklyn, 72 years old, widowed for 3 years, lonely nights, empty house, silent phone. Then, one Sunday after church, a man approached her. Handsome, well-dressed, said all the right things. Within 2 weeks he was talking marriage. Within 3 weeks he wanted access to her accounts to help manage her finances. Margaret was ready to say yes. She'd been praying for companionship for 3 years. This felt like answered prayer. But the day before she planned to introduce him to her family, she missed her flight to meet his relatives. Weather delay. Then her daughter got sick, needed her to stay another week. Then her bank called about suspicious activity. Turned out someone had been tracking her information. By the time Margaret was ready to move forward, the man had disappeared, vanished. She later discovered he'd done this to 4 other widows in 3 different states. One lost her entire life savings. Another lost her home. Margaret wept when she found out. Not from loss, from gratitude. Because what she called frustration, God called protection. What she called bad timing, heaven called perfect intervention. You see, beloved, when God slows your steps, He's blocking bullets you can't see. Right now, some of you are angry with God. You're 70 years old and still waiting. You're 65 and that door still hasn't opened. You're 78 and wondering if God forgot your address. You've been faithful, you've been patient, you've done everything right, and yet nothing moves. But what if I told you that every delay has been a divine shield? What if every no was God's hand pushing you away from disaster? What if every closed door was heaven's way of saying, "Not that one, you'll thank me later"? In Exodus 14:13, when Israel stood trapped between the Red Sea and Pharaoh's army, Moses didn't say, "Run faster." He said, "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord." Stand still. In Hebrew, that word means take your position. It means stop running and let God fight. You've been running for decades, haven't you? Running toward opportunities, running after people, running to prove yourself, running to catch up to everyone else who seemed to get their breakthrough at 30 while you're still waiting at 70. But heaven's traffic jam is divine timing. Let me paint you a picture. You're driving down the highway, late for the most important meeting of your life. Everything depends on this. Suddenly traffic, dead stop. You're furious. You're praying, "God, please, just let this traffic move." 20 minutes pass. 30. You miss the meeting entirely. You're devastated. But what you didn't see was that 5 miles ahead, there was a 50-car pileup. People died. If you'd been on time, you would have been in the center of it. That traffic jam saved your life, and you spent the whole time cursing it. That's what God's delays look like from heaven's view. That job you didn't get in 2019, the company filed bankruptcy in 2020, that relationship that ended suddenly in 2015, that person is now on their 3rd divorce. That business deal that fell through last year, the partner got indicted for fraud 3 months ago. That house you lost in the bidding war, it had black mold in the walls that would have hospitalized you. Every single no was God whispering, "I love you too much to let you have what will destroy you." But here's what's breaking my heart tonight. Some of you have stopped trusting the pause. You're so tired of waiting that you're about to force open a door God sealed shut. You're so desperate for movement that you're ready to marry the wrong person, sign the wrong contract, make the wrong investment just to feel like something is finally happening. And that's exactly when the trap springs. Because the enemy knows your weak spot. He knows you're exhausted. He knows you're ready to compromise. He knows you'll take anything that looks like progress because you're terrified you're running out of time. So he shows up with something that looks exactly like what you've been praying for, except it's wrapped in destruction you can't see yet. Listen to me. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still, not be anxious, not be frantic, not be desperate. Be still. Let God be God while you remember who you are, chosen, protected, guided by a Father who sees 10 years ahead of every decision you're about to make. That business opportunity that just presented itself, the one that requires you to compromise your integrity just a little, that's not God. That promotion that demands you work Sundays and abandon your prayer life, that's not favor. That relationship that makes you feel alive but pulls you away from your purpose, that's not love. Real breakthrough never requires you to violate your values. Real favor never asks you to abandon your faith. Real love never costs you your peace. And if you're feeling pressured to decide right now, this instant, without time to pray or seek counsel, that pressure isn't from heaven. God never rushes his children into decisions that will define their destiny. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to trust the pause. Type it right now in the comments. I trust the pause. Because when you declare that, you're telling every demonic force that's been pressuring you that you refuse to move until God says move. You're not behind schedule. You're early for your own safety. And the blessing that's coming is worth every second you've waited. But here's the question that will determine everything. If God asked you to wait another year, just one more year for complete protection and perfect timing, would you trust him? Or would you force the door open tomorrow and risk everything? Because what I'm about to show you next will reveal exactly what happens when chosen ones ignore God's pause and step into traps disguised as answered prayers. You want to know what the real trap is? It's not the storm coming at you. It's not the enemy circling your camp. The trap is the unbearable urge screaming in your chest right now to do something, to move, to fix it, to force the door open before God ever gives you permission to step. That urgency you feel, that burning need to act now because you've waited long enough. That's not faith, that's the bait. Let me take you back 3,000 years to a mountaintop where a king lost everything in a single hour. King Saul. 1 Samuel chapter 13. He's standing there, sweat dripping down his face, watching his army desert him by the hundreds. The Philistines are gathering 30,000 chariots, 6,000 horsemen, soldiers thick as sand on the seashore. And Samuel, the prophet, the only man authorized to make the sacrifice before battle, he's late. 7 days Saul waited. 7 agonizing days watching his kingdom crumble while heaven stayed silent. You know that feeling, don't you? When you've done everything right, prayed every prayer, fasted every fast, and God still hasn't moved. When the bills are piling up, and the diagnosis came back, and the marriage is hanging by a thread, and heaven feels like it's on vacation. That's where Saul stood. And on the 7th day, with only 600 men left, he made a choice. He said, "I can't wait anymore. Bring me the burnt offering." And he performed the sacrifice himself. 1 hour, 60 minutes. That's all he missed it by. Because the moment the smoke rose from that unauthorized altar, Samuel showed up. And the words that came out of the prophet's mouth destroyed a dynasty. "You have done foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of the Lord your God. For now the Lord would have established your kingdom over Israel forever. But now your kingdom shall not continue." Let that sink into your spirit right now. Saul lost an eternal kingdom because he couldn't wait 1 more hour. Everything God promised him gone. Not because of adultery, not because of murder, not because of idolatry, because he moved before God said move. Some of you are sitting in your living room right now at 73 years old thinking, "I'm tired of waiting. I've been patient long enough. I've trusted God for decades, and I'm done sitting still." And hell is whispering, "You're right. You deserve to move. You've earned it. Go ahead. What's one phone call? What's one decision? What's one compromise?" But chosen one, hear me clearly. Obedience isn't delay. Obedience is warfare. Every second you stand still when your flesh is screaming to run, you're not being passive, you're fighting a battle in the heavenlies that you cannot see. Every moment you refuse to force open a door God closed, angels are repositioning for your protection. Every day you choose to wait, when waiting feels like dying, you're strangling the enemy's timeline and securing your own. When God says not yet, He's not testing your patience, He's protecting your promise. You think that door you're staring at right now is your breakthrough, that relationship that suddenly resurfaced after 15 years, that business opportunity that makes perfect financial sense, that ministry position that would finally give you the platform you've been praying for. It's painted gold, but it's hollow inside. God has a way of disguising His greatest protections as His cruelest denials. He'll close a door in your face and you'll cry yourself to sleep, wondering why He's punishing you. But 5 years later, you'll drive past the wreckage of what could have been, and you'll fall to your knees, thanking Him for loving you enough to tell you no. That job you didn't get in 2019, the company filed for bankruptcy in 2020, that house you lost the bid on, it had foundation problems that would have bankrupted you. That person who walked away when you thought they were the one, they're on their third marriage now, destroying everyone they touch. God wasn't denying you, God was defending you. But here's what makes this so hard. Here's what makes obedience feel like torture. God hides diamonds under dirt to see who still digs. He buries your blessings 6 feet deep in delay, disappointment, and divine silence to find out if you'll keep trusting Him when trusting Him looks absolutely insane. Abraham waited 25 years for Isaac. Joseph waited 13 years between the dream and the palace. Moses waited 40 years in the wilderness before the burning bush. David was anointed king as a teenager and didn't wear the crown until he was 30. Jesus Himself waited 30 years before 3 years of ministry. If God made His own Son wait, what makes you think you get to skip the test? Right now, I need you to do something. I need you to say it out loud, right where you're sitting. Don't just think it, speak it into the atmosphere. Say, I will wait on the Lord. Say it again. I will wait on the Lord. Because every time you declare that, you're canceling hell's assignment. Every time you choose obedience over urgency, you're securing what the enemy tried to steal. Listen to me, chosen one. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. Every closed door was God's fingerprint saying, not this one, not yet, not here. Every delay was God building something in you that the blessing requires. Every moment of silence was God protecting you from settling for silver when He's preparing gold. That trap laid before you, it's designed to look like the answer to your prayers. It's designed to make you think God finally showed up. But God doesn't show up on the enemy's schedule. He doesn't respond to your desperation. He moves according to His purpose. And if you'll just hold your position, if you'll just stand still when everything in you wants to run, you're about to see why this wait was worth it. But the question that will determine whether you step into your promise or your peril is this. Will you obey what God said even when obeying feels like you're being left behind? You know what's keeping you awake at 3 a.m.? It's not insomnia. It's not your medication wearing off. It's the sound of a battle you're not supposed to hear. While you were sleeping last Tuesday night, an angel intercepted a phone call that would have destroyed your finances. While you were grocery shopping on Thursday, a divine hand redirected traffic so you wouldn't be in that intersection when the semi-truck ran the red light. While you sat in your living room last Sunday wondering why God felt so distant, heaven's war room was in complete chaos because 3 demons and 4 fallen principalities were in an emergency meeting trying to figure out how to stop what's coming for you. You think your life is quiet right now. You think nothing is happening. You look at your bank account, your health reports, your empty calendar, and you whisper, God, have you forgotten me? Beloved, you have no idea what's happening in the realm you cannot see. In Daniel chapter 10, verse 12 and 13, an angel appears to Daniel and says something that should shake every chosen one to their core. Do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Did you catch that? 21 days. Daniel prayed, and heaven heard him immediately. But the answer was delayed for 3 weeks because there was a war happening in the invisible realm. Angels and demons locked in combat over one man's prayer. Now let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. How many of your prayers are 20 days into their battle right now? That job you prayed for last month, heaven filed it under divine investigation because the company you wanted to work for is about to collapse, and God is protecting you from walking into a sinking ship. That relationship you begged God to restore, angels are currently blocking that person's number because if they called you tonight, you'd go back to the same toxic cycle that almost killed you 5 years ago. That financial breakthrough you've been crying about, heaven's accounting department is calculating how much interest you're owed for every tear you cried in faithfulness. And beloved, the amount is so large they're still processing the transfer. You call it delay. God calls it strategy. You call it rejection. Heaven calls it protection. You call it silence. The angelic realm calls it classified information. Listen to me carefully. Heaven has a traffic control system you know nothing about. Right now, at this very second, angels are rerouting accidents, blocking betrayals, and rearranging calendars. That meeting that got cancelled last week, it was supposed to be the day someone handed you a contract that would have legally bound you to a decision that would have haunted you for the next decade. That friend who suddenly stopped calling, heaven reassigned them because their season in your life was complete, and if they stayed, they would have poisoned the next chapter God is writing. But here's what's driving me to my knees tonight. You have been interpreting God's protection as God's abandonment. Every closed door you've been mourning, it was heaven's hand pushing you away from a trap. Every delayed answer you've been questioning, it was an angel locked in combat with a demon who was assigned to your destruction. Every person who walked away, they were removed by divine extraction, because what they carried would have infected what you're carrying. Romans 8:28 promises, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." In all things, not some things, not the things that make sense, all things. That means the cancer diagnosis that terrified you last year was working for your good. That bankruptcy that humiliated you in 2008 was working for your good. That betrayal that broke your heart was working for your good. But how? How can devastation work for good? Because every attack you survived made you stronger. Every loss you endured made you wiser. Every night you cried made your prayers more powerful. The enemy thought he was destroying you. God was actually preparing you to be indestructible. Right now, comment, "Heaven is working. I don't care if you don't feel it. I don't care if your circumstances are screaming the opposite." Comment it. Say it out loud. Declare it until your fear starts to listen. Because faith isn't about feeling, it's about declaring truth until your emotions catch up to heaven's reality. You want to know something that's going to blow your mind? Your miracle is being delayed so someone else's can align with yours. There's a person you haven't met yet whose breakthrough is connected to yours. There's a door you haven't seen yet that won't open until you're standing in the right position. There's a blessing heaven is holding in escrow, because if it came last year, you would have celebrated alone, but when it comes this year, you'll celebrate with the people God assigned to your destiny. The trap that was set for you, it won't work. You know why? Because the blueprint changed overnight. Hell spent 6 months designing a scheme to destroy you. They studied your patterns, analyzed your weaknesses, and set the perfect trap. But last night, while you were sleeping, heaven's architects rewrote the entire plan. The enemy is about to execute an ambush on a location you're no longer going to be at. He's preparing an attack for a version of you that no longer exists. What you call stagnation, heaven calls preparation. What you call waiting, angels call warfare. What you call your wilderness season, God calls your war room training. And here's the truth that's about to set you free. The reason your life feels so heavy right now is because you're carrying the weight of a battle you were never meant to fight. Heaven is fighting it for you. So the only question left is this: are you finally ready to stop trying to fix what God is already handling and trust that while you rest, angels are fighting wars you'll never see? Because what's about to break loose in your life didn't come from your effort. It came from heaven's intervention. You know what breaks my heart more than anything else I've witnessed in 5 decades of ministry? It's watching God's chosen ones get destroyed, not by their enemies, but by the people sitting in their living rooms, the ones at their dinner tables, the ones who know their bank account balance, their health struggles, their private prayers. Not everyone clapping for you is celebrating you. Some are just checking to see if you're still standing, so they know when to push. Chosen one, I need you to hear this with your spirit, not just your ears. That person who suddenly reappeared in your life after 5 years of silence, that family member who's been extra nice since they heard about your upcoming blessing, that church friend who keeps asking about your plans, your finances, your next move. They're not all there for the reasons you think. Some came to monitor, not to minister. Let me take you back 2,000 years to a garden called Gethsemane. Jesus is about to face the darkest night of his earthly life. And in walks Judas, one of the 12, one of the inner circle, one who ate at his table, traveled by his side, witnessed every miracle. Matthew 26-48 records the most chilling moment in human history. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him. A kiss, the universal sign of affection, respect, greeting, and Judas weaponized it. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Betrayal doesn't always announce itself with a knife. Sometimes it walks up to you smiling, hugs you warmly, calls you friend, and kisses your cheek right before handing you over to your destruction. That's why you've been feeling that strange unease around certain people lately. That's why your spirit gets agitated when specific names appear on your phone. That's why you can't quite relax, even though everything looks fine on the surface. Your discernment is screaming what your loyalty won't let you admit. Not everyone who knows your name knows your heart, and not everyone who knows your heart wants what's best for it. Listen to what Solomon wrote in Proverbs 18:24. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Did you catch that? Many companions, that's the trap. The crowd, the entourage, the people who fill your space but not your spirit. Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, is warning you that quantity can kill you while quality saves you. You're at an age now where you should know better. 70 years of life experience should have taught you something about human nature, right? But here's what the enemy counts on. He knows that the older you get, the lonelier you become. He knows your children moved away. He knows your spouse might be gone. He knows your church friends are dropping like flies. He knows you're starving for companionship, for conversation, for someone to remember your name. So he sends scouts disguised as friends. They show up with casseroles and compliments. They volunteer to drive you to appointments. They call to check on you. And slowly, carefully, they start asking questions. How much did you say that house sold for? What did the lawyer say about the inheritance? Are you planning to change your will? Who's going to get your collection when you're gone? And because you're grateful for the attention, because you're thankful someone finally cares, you tell them everything. You open your life like a book. You share your plans, your resources, your vulnerabilities. That's when they strike. I'm not trying to make you paranoid, beloved. I'm trying to make you prepared. God doesn't expose false allies to shame them. He exposes them to shield you. Every time he gives you that uneasy feeling about someone, he's not being mean. He's being merciful. He's showing you the kiss before the betrayal happens. Now let me teach you something that will change how you navigate every relationship for the rest of your life. True discernment doesn't operate through suspicion, it operates through peace. When someone is genuinely for you, your spirit rests. When someone is secretly against you, your spirit wrestles. Peace versus pressure. That's the test. Does their presence bring peace or pressure? Does being around them make you feel lighter or heavier? Do you feel safe being yourself, or do you constantly edit your words, watch your tone, measure your joy? Do they celebrate your wins or subtly minimize them? Do they pray for your breakthrough or secretly hope you stay broken so they feel better about their own failures? Your body knows before your mind admits it. That tension in your shoulders when they walk in the room, that's not arthritis, that's awareness. That knot in your stomach when you see their number calling, that's not acid reflux, that's alarm. That exhaustion you feel after spending time with them, that's not old age, that's energy theft. Stop calling it paranoia. Start calling it perception. God gave you discernment as a divine defense system. It's not optional equipment for chosen ones, it's standard issue. And right now, at this exact moment in your life when you're about to step into the greatest blessing you've ever known, your discernment is working overtime because the enemy has deployed his finest actors. Type peace is my confirmation if you're finally ready to stop ignoring what your spirit has been screaming. Type it right now, because that simple declaration tells heaven you're done being polite at the expense of being protected. Your silence is your sword. Your peace is your proof. Your discernment is your divine defense. You don't owe anyone an explanation for creating distance. You don't need to justify why you stopped sharing your business. You don't have to apologize for protecting your energy, your information, your anointing. The people who are genuinely for you will understand. The people who aren't will be offended. Let them be offended. Their offense is your confirmation. And here's what's about to happen next once you start operating in this level of discernment. Once you start honoring the unease in your spirit instead of explaining it away, God is going to do something that will absolutely astound you. He's going to start removing people you never had the courage to release. He's going to orchestrate exits you couldn't engineer yourself. He's going to clear your circle without you lifting a finger, because the blessing that's coming to you, it requires a new crew, new energy, new alignment, and God can't bring in the real ones until you release the fake ones. But I need to show you something even more dangerous than false allies. Something that's been operating in the shadows of your life. Something so subtle you've mistaken it for coincidence. You thought the message ended when the warning came. You thought God was finished speaking. You thought the heaviness in your chest, that whisper in your spirit, that divine interruption, you thought that was the finale. But heaven doesn't stop at warning. Heaven moves into warfare. Listen to me, chosen one. The trap was set. You saw it. You felt it. That opportunity that looked so perfect. That door that suddenly swung open after years of being locked. That person who waltzed back into your life with promises and plans. You saw it for what it was, bait, and you didn't fall. You obeyed. You waited. You stepped back when every fiber of your flesh wanted to leap forward. And heaven noticed. Right now, in this very moment, there's something happening in your spirit that you can't quite name. You felt that heaviness lift, didn't you? That strange calm after the chaos. Like the storm stopped screaming and the air went silent. You thought it was fear. You thought maybe you were just tired, worn down by years of fighting battles nobody sees. But that wasn't fear, beloved. That was formation. God was forming something in you, strengthening something, preparing something. While you thought you were just surviving another day, heaven was forging you into a weapon the enemy never saw coming. You know what scares hell more than your prayers? Your obedience in the moment of temptation. Your ability to hear God's voice above the noise. Your willingness to look at what everyone else calls a blessing and say, not yet, not this. I'm waiting on God. That obedience just shifted the entire spiritual atmosphere around your life. But now here's the question that's going to haunt you if you don't understand it. The question isn't what was the trap anymore. You already know what it was. You already saw through the disguise. The real question, the one that's going to determine everything that happens next, is this: why did God allow you to see it? Think about that. Why you? Why now? Why did God pull back the veil and show you what hell was planning when millions of people walk into traps every single day completely blind? I'll tell you why. Because you're not like them. You're not supposed to be a casualty. You're supposed to be a demonstration. A living testimony that says, I almost fell, but God. A witness that proves heaven still protects, still warns, still fights for those who belong to him. In Psalm 91:11, it says, For he shall give his angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. Keep you, not just save you after you fall. Keep you, protect you, position you, redirect you before the devastation even reaches your doorstep. That's what just happened. Angels moved, demons scrambled, and you, standing in your kitchen, sitting in your living room, lying in your bed at night, wrestling with that decision, you heard the voice of God above the roar of your own desperation. Do you understand how rare that is? Do you understand what it means that God trusted you enough to reveal the trap instead of just rescuing you from it? It means he's preparing you for a level of spiritual warfare you've never experienced before. It means what's coming next in your life is so significant, so dangerous to hell's agenda, that the enemy had to try to stop you before you even got close. You're not being attacked because you're weak. You're being attacked because your next season terrifies the kingdom of darkness. Now I need you to stop and really hear this. That calm you feel right now, that's not relief. That's the sound of heaven reloading. God didn't just save you from a trap. He's about to use that trap as evidence against your enemy. Every scheme hell designed to destroy you is about to become a weapon in God's hands to elevate you. Romans 8:28 doesn't just say all things work together for good. It says they work together for good for those who love God, for those who are called according to his purpose. You are called. That trap you just avoided, God's already turning it into testimony. That door you didn't walk through, God's about to open one 10 times bigger. That person who tried to derail you, God's removing them permanently and replacing them with divine connections you never even prayed for. But here's where most people miss it. They think dodging the trap is the victory. No. Dodging the trap is the training. The real victory comes when you step into what God protected you for. You know that restlessness you've been feeling? That sense that something monumental is about to shift? That's not anxiety. That's anticipation. Your spirit recognizes what your mind can't see yet. A door is about to open that hell tried to keep you from ever reaching. A blessing is about to manifest that required your obedience to access. A promotion is coming that demanded your patience to receive. And the enemy knew. That's why he set the trap. That's why the attack was so calculated, so personal, so perfectly timed to your weakness. Because if he could get you to compromise just this once, if he could get you to move ahead of God's timing just this one time, he could disqualify you from the very thing heaven has been preparing for decades. But you didn't move. You waited. You trusted. You obeyed when obedience made no logical sense. And now God is about to show you what he does with people who trust him in the dark. Type in the comments right now, I'm still standing. Not because you're strong, not because you had it all figured out, but because when hell threw everything it had at you, when the trap was perfectly set, when the bait looked so real, you heard heaven's voice. And you chose God over gain. You chose patience over panic. You chose to mind your own business and let heaven mind yours. Because what's coming next isn't just blessing, it's vindication, it's elevation. It's the moment when everyone who doubted you, everyone who counted you out, everyone who said your best days were behind you, they're all about to watch God do something in your life that defies every natural explanation. The warning wasn't the end, it was the beginning of heaven's counterattack. And you're about to discover what happens when God fights for someone who finally learned to fight his way. So the question isn't whether you're ready, the question is hell ready for what you're about to become? You know what keeps me up at night? It's not the trap the enemy set for you. It's what God's about to do with it. Because here's what hell didn't calculate. Every weapon formed against you wasn't just going to fail, it was going to backfire so spectacularly that the same demons who designed your destruction are about to watch you use their blueprints for your coronation. Listen to me, chosen one. God doesn't cancel the enemy's plans, he converts them. He doesn't just block the attack, he hijacks it, rewires it, and turns it into the very vehicle that delivers your breakthrough. What was meant to bury you is about to become the foundation of your empire. You want proof? Look at Joseph. Genesis 50-20. His own brothers, his own blood, threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery, and told their father he was dead, betrayed by family, falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, forgotten in prison for years, every door slammed, every hope crushed, every promise from God seemingly buried in Egyptian dirt. But watch what God does. That pit, it became his training ground. That prison, it became his networking opportunity with Pharaoh's officials. That betrayal, it positioned him as second in command of the most powerful nation on earth. And when his brothers finally stood before him, trembling, expecting vengeance, Joseph looked them dead in the eye and said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Do you hear what he's saying? The same trap, the same betrayal, the same plan, but two completely different outcomes because God took hell's blueprint and built heaven's palace with it. That's not luck, beloved. That's divine reversal. And it's about to happen to you. Every person who gossiped about you at church, they were unknowingly advertising your testimony. Every boss who passed you over for promotion because of your age, they were protecting you from a company that was about to collapse. Every relationship that ended abruptly, God was removing them before they blocked the door he was about to open. The same pit they threw you in became your platform. The same rejection that broke your heart became the redirection that saved your life. The same diagnosis that terrified you became the testimony that's about to heal thousands. You were not buried, chosen one. You were planted, and the ground is starting to shake. Think about it. Why has your story been so brutal? Why have you endured level after level of hell when other people seem to coast through life? Why did you lose your savings when you were being faithful? Why did your health fail when you were serving God? Why did your children rebel when you were praying without ceasing? Because ordinary testimonies don't require extraordinary trials. And what God is preparing to release through you is so powerful, so unprecedented, so world-shaking, that it required a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of supernatural glory. David wasn't made in the palace. He was made in the cave, hiding from Saul, rejected by his own king, hunted like an animal. But 1 Samuel 22 tells us that everyone who was in distress, everyone in debt, everyone discontented gathered to him in that cave, and he became their captain. The cave became his command center, the rejection became his recruiting ground, the wilderness became his war college. And when David finally took the throne, he didn't just rule, he established a kingdom that would produce the bloodline of Jesus Christ himself. That's not just reversal, that's generational redemption. You want a modern translation? Every false accusation against you just became character evidence for your next assignment. Every financial loss just created the hunger that's about to fuel your supernatural wealth. Every closed door just eliminated every distraction between you and your divine destination. Hell built a trap, God built a catapult. And you're about to be launched into a dimension of favor that will make your past pain look like an investment in your future glory. Every trap built for your fall just became the stage for your rise. Every weapon formed against you just became the tool God used to carve out your character. Every lie told about you just became the contrast that makes your truth undeniable. Every trap built for your fall just became the stage for your rise. What they buried just became what they'll have to bow to. What they mocked just became what they'll beg to be part of. Every trap built for your fall just became the stage for your rise. And when you finally step into what God has prepared, when you finally walk through that door, when you finally claim what heaven has been holding in escrow, everyone who watched you fall is going to watch you fly. But here's the part that's going to wreck you. You needed every single trap. You needed every betrayal. You needed every setback. Because God wasn't just protecting you from destruction, He was positioning you for dominion. He was loading the catapult. And the harder they pushed you down, the higher you're about to soar. Esther didn't end up in the palace by accident. She ended up there for such a time as this. Her trap forced into a king's harem became her throne. Her crisis became her calling. Her mourning became her morning. Right now, this very second, the reversal is already in motion. Every prayer you thought went unanswered, it's been accumulating interest. Every tear you cried in secret, heaven's been collecting them in bottles. Every night you wanted to quit, God was adding another zero to your breakthrough. The enemy's plan didn't fail. It succeeded in building exactly what God wanted all along. A warrior who can't be intimidated. A believer who can't be bought. A chosen one who can't be stopped. So when they ask you how you made it, when they ask you how you survived, when they ask you how you went from the pit to the palace in what seemed like overnight, you tell them the truth. The same trap meant to destroy me became the blueprint God used to build my destiny. Type "it's turning" if you can feel the reversal already stirring. Because what I'm about to reveal next will show you exactly how to recognize when God's reversal has begun and how to step into it without sabotaging your own breakthrough. You know what terrifies people more than losing everything? It's watching everything fall apart and not understanding why. You've been faithful. You've tithed when your bank account was crying. You've prayed when your knees were aching. You've trusted God through 60, 70, 80 years of life. And now, right when you thought you'd finally have peace, right when you thought the storms were over, everything you built is shaking. Your adult children who used to call every Sunday, silent for months. That church you poured decades into suddenly feels cold, distant, unfamiliar. That retirement fund you carefully protected, shrinking despite your best efforts. That health you've maintained, now requiring more doctors, more pills, more worry. And you're sitting there at your kitchen table at 2 a.m., hands trembling around a cup of coffee that's gone cold, asking God the most dangerous question a believer can ask: did I do something wrong? Let me tell you something that's going to crack your theology wide open. No, beloved, you didn't do anything wrong. God is doing something right. Before God blesses you publicly, He exposes privately. Before He elevates you into your final assignment, He has to eliminate everything fake holding you back. This isn't punishment. This is preparation. This isn't God abandoning you. This is God answering the prayer you prayed 20 years ago when you said, "Lord, use me. Make me ready. I don't care what it costs." Well, chosen one, the bill just came due. Turn with me to Mark chapter 4. Jesus and His disciples are in a boat crossing the Sea of Galilee. Jesus is asleep. Suddenly, a furious storm erupts, waves crashing, wind screaming. Experienced fishermen who've survived 1,000 storms are convinced they're about to die. And they wake Jesus up, terrified, shouting, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" Now here's what your pastor never told you about that story. That storm wasn't random. That storm was appointed. Jesus didn't accidentally fall asleep before a surprise storm. He deliberately led them into that boat, knowing exactly what was coming. He needed them to see something they couldn't learn in calm waters. The storm wasn't against Him. The storm was announcing Him. Every wave that crashed was declaring, "Something greater than nature is in this boat." Every gust of wind was proclaiming, "The one who commands creation is here." The disciples thought they were facing death. They were actually facing revelation. And when Jesus stood up and said 3 words, "Peace, be still," He wasn't just calming weather. He was demonstrating authority. He was showing them that the storm recognized His voice before they did. Listen to me carefully, dear one. When your life starts shaking right now, when relationships crumble, when financial security evaporates, when health fails, when plans you made with such confidence collapse into dust, that's not evidence that God has left the boat. That's evidence that God is about to stand up in your boat and reveal who He really is. You think this storm is about what you're losing. God knows this storm is about what you're about to gain. The winds weren't fighting Jesus. They were announcing His authority. And the storms in your life right now, they're not destroying your destiny. They're exposing every counterfeit foundation you've been standing on, so God can replace them with something that cannot be shaken. That friend who abandoned you when you got sick. God is showing you they were never assigned to your future. That church that pushed you aside because you're too old. God is revealing they never recognized the anointing you carry. That family member who only calls when they need money. Heaven is exposing the transaction disguised as relationship. This hurts. I know it hurts. You invested years, decades, emotions, resources into people and places that are now crumbling. But answer me this. Would you rather discover who's real now, or would you rather carry counterfeits into your greatest season and watch them betray you when you need them most? God loves you too much to let you build on sand. So He sends the storm. Not to destroy you, but to reveal what's actually holding you up. In Matthew 7:25, Jesus said, "The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock." Notice the storm came to both houses. The righteous and the foolish both faced the same wind, the same rain, the same pressure. The difference wasn't the storm, the difference was the foundation. Right now, heaven is shaking everything in your life that has a faulty foundation. Every relationship built on convenience rather than covenant shaking. Every financial security built on human wisdom rather than divine provision shaking. Every identity built on what people think instead of what God says shaking. And yes, it's terrifying. Yes, it feels like everything you believed in is falling apart. But Hebrews 12:27 promises, the words once more indicate the removing of what can be shaken, that is, created things so that what cannot be shaken may remain. What you call loss, God calls lightning, illuminating what's been hidden in darkness. What you call delay, heaven calls thunder, announcing that something powerful is approaching. The storm didn't come to drown you. The storm came to reveal you. Every storm is heaven tuning the frequency of your life to match destiny. You can't walk into kingdom assignments carrying counterfeit connections. You can't step into supernatural provision while trusting natural securities. You can't fulfill divine purpose while clinging to human approval. So God sends the storm. And everything not built by Him, everything not assigned by Him, everything not anointed by Him, it shakes loose and falls away. And you're left standing there, feeling naked, exposed, alone, wondering if anything will ever be stable again. That's the moment. That's the exact moment when God can finally build something in you that hell cannot touch. This is not chaos, beloved. This is cleansing. This is not destruction. This is divine reconstruction. You are not falling apart. You are being carefully, strategically, lovingly taken apart so God can put you back together the way He originally designed you, before people's opinions, before trauma, before compromise, before you learn to shrink yourself to fit into spaces too small for your calling. The storm is mercy, the shaking is grace, the exposure is preparation for the greatest elevation of your life. So I'm asking you right now, will you let it shake? Will you release what's falling? Will you trust that whatever survives this storm is exactly what you need for what's coming next? Type these 3 words in the comments. Let it shake. Because if it's from God, it will stand. And if it's not from God, you don't want it standing anyway. But here's what you need to understand. Before we go any further, the storm is only the beginning. What God is about to reveal after the shaking will explain why every loss was actually a gift. You know what's breaking my heart right now? It's watching you beat yourself up for not moving fast enough, for not healing quick enough, for not bouncing back like you used to when you were 30, 40, 50 years younger. You lie awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, whispering to God, "Why can't I do what I used to do? Why does everything take so long now? Why am I stuck here, frozen, while everyone else is racing past me?" And I'm going to tell you something that's going to shatter everything you think you know about this season of your life. That stillness you're experiencing, that's not God abandoning you. That's God operating on you. Listen to me carefully, beloved. When a surgeon puts you under anesthesia, you don't feel the knife. You don't see the blood. You don't watch your chest being opened. All you know is darkness, silence, stillness. And when you wake up, everything has changed. The tumor is gone, the blockage is cleared, the poison is removed. That's exactly what God is doing in your spirit right now. The silence you're experiencing isn't absence, it's anesthesia. Heaven has put you under because what God is removing from your soul is so deep, so embedded, so tangled with your identity that if you were conscious during this operation, the pain would destroy you. You think you're doing nothing. God says you're being reconstructed. You think you're wasting time. Heaven says you're being purified. You think you're falling behind. The Spirit says you're being positioned ahead. In Daniel chapter 10, verse 12, an angel appears to Daniel and says something that should shake you to your core. "Do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them." Did you catch that? From the first day Daniel prayed, God heard him. But the angel didn't arrive until 21 days later. 21 days of silence. 21 days of stillness. 21 days where Daniel probably thought God had forgotten his name. But here's what Daniel couldn't see. While he was waiting in stillness, there was a war raging in the heavenlies. The prince of Persia, a demonic force, was blocking the angel. Michael, the archangel, had to join the fight. There was warfare, strategy, positioning, all happening in realms Daniel couldn't perceive. From Daniel's perspective, silence. From heaven's perspective, surgery. That's where you are right now, chosen one. You think nothing is happening because you can't see movement. But there is more activity in the invisible realm right now concerning your life than at any other point in your 70, 80 years on this earth. Angels are fighting battles you didn't even know existed. Demons that have been assigned to your bloodline for generations are being forcibly removed. Doors that have been locked since your childhood are being blown off their hinges. Curses that have followed your family tree for centuries are being snapped like dead branches. And you're lying still, wondering why you can't move like you used to. Let me tell you why. Because if you were running around right now, you'd run straight back into the prison God just broke you out of. If you were moving at your old speed, you'd sprint directly into the trap we talked about earlier. If you had your old strength, you'd use it to build the same broken life God is trying to demolish. Stillness isn't weakness, beloved. Stillness is strategy. Heaven paralyzes your motion to amplify your revelation. Think about it. When is the last time you actually heard God's voice clearly? When is the last time you had a moment of pure, undistracted communion with the Almighty? It was probably during a season when you couldn't do anything else. When sickness stopped you. When loss broke you, when age slowed you down. That's not punishment, that's proximity. God whispers loudest when we're finally quiet enough to hear him. And I need you to hear this, especially those of you who are battling aging bodies, slower reflexes, memories that aren't as sharp as they used to be. Your body may be slowing down, but your spirit is running at heaven's speed. While your knees ache, your soul is leaping. While your hands tremble, your faith is steady as a rock. While your voice weakens, your prayers are shaking the foundations of hell itself. Don't you dare measure your value by how fast you move. God measures your worth by how deep you've gone. Stillness is when heaven lays its fingerprints on your soul. It's the holy anesthesia before the resurrection. It's the sacred pause before the explosive breakthrough. It's God saying, I need you completely still so I can completely transform you. You want to know why God has you in this holding pattern? Because what's coming next in your life is so massive, so unprecedented, so far beyond anything you've experienced that your old framework couldn't contain it. Your old mindset couldn't handle it. Your old wounds would contaminate it. So God said, be still, let me work, trust me in the silence. Psalm 46:10 commands us, be still and know that I am God. Not be busy and prove you're worthy. Not keep moving so people think you're productive. Be still. And in that stillness, know with absolute certainty that He is God. He's got this. He's got you. And He's not done with you yet. So right now, I need you to do something that might feel uncomfortable. I need you to stop fighting the stillness. Stop resisting the pause. Stop apologizing for the season you're in. Type in the comments, I surrender to stillness, because silence is sacred, and what God is doing in you during this quiet season will roar louder than anything you could have accomplished through human effort. The surgery is almost complete, beloved, and when you wake up from this divine anesthesia, when you rise from this prophetic stillness, you're going to discover that God didn't just heal you. He resurrected you. But here's what you need to understand about resurrection, and this is critical, so don't miss it. You can't resurrect what's still breathing. You can't rebuild what's still standing. You can't birth the new until the old completely dies. And that's exactly what's happening in your life right now. Chosen one, we've walked through deep waters together today. And before you close this video, before you move on with your day, I need you to remember 3 things that could change everything. First, that trap you almost walked into. God saw it before you did. His delays are not denials, they're divine protection. When doors close, when opportunities vanish, when people suddenly disappear from your life, it's not always the enemy blocking you. Sometimes it's God redirecting you. Second, the stillness you're experiencing right now is not emptiness, it's elevation. While you've been lying still, wondering if God forgot your address, heaven has been performing surgery on your soul, removing generational curses, extracting toxic patterns, and preparing you for a breakthrough so massive that your old foundation couldn't have supported it. Third, you are not behind schedule. You are not too old. You are not disqualified. Every gray hair on your head is a badge of honor. Every wrinkle on your face is a testimony of battles survived. Every slow step you take carries more authority than all the running you did in your youth. And I need you to hear this with everything in you. You are not alone. You might feel isolated. You might feel forgotten. You might look around at your empty house, your quiet phone, your smaller circle, and think that nobody understands what you're going through. But there are thousands of people watching this right now who are nodding their heads, wiping their tears, saying that's exactly where I am. This isn't just a YouTube channel. This is a family. This is a community of warriors who have been through the fire and came out refined. We see you, we hear you, and we are standing with you in prayer. So let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. If God has protected you from every trap, sustained you through every storm, and kept you breathing through every battle, what makes you think He's going to abandon you now? He didn't bring you this far to leave you. He didn't preserve you through 7, 8 decades of life just to let you fail in the final stretch. Your story isn't over. Your purpose isn't expired. And your best chapter is still being written. Now, before we close, I want to pray over you. Not a quick prayer, not a religious formality. I want to pray the kind of prayer that breaks chains, opens doors, and shifts atmospheres. And I'm asking you right now, wherever you are, put your hand on your heart. Feel it beating. That's proof that God isn't finished with you yet. Every heartbeat is a declaration. I still have purpose. I still have destiny. I still have work to do. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I come before your throne right now with my hand extended toward every precious soul hearing these words. Lord, you know their names, you know their pain, you know the sleepless nights, the silent tears, the secret battles they've fought when nobody was watching. God, I'm asking you right now to touch them. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Let them feel your presence like a warm blanket wrapping around their weary shoulders. Let them sense your love like a strong hand lifting their downcast head. Father, for every person who almost walked into that trap, I thank you for divine intervention. For every door you closed that they wanted to kick open, I praise you for protection. For every relationship you removed, every opportunity you delayed, every plan you disrupted, Lord, we see your hand now, and we're grateful. I pray specifically for their health right now. Touch their bodies, Lord. Where there is pain, bring relief. Where there is sickness, release healing. Where there is exhaustion, restore their strength. Remind them that even when their bodies slow down, their spirits are running at heaven's speed. I pray for their finances. God, you own the cattle on 1,000 hills. You hold the wealth of nations in your hands. Release provision for your faithful servants. Open doors of opportunity they never saw coming. Bring unexpected blessings, supernatural favor, and divine connections that will astound them. I pray for their families. Where there is division, bring unity. Where there is rebellion, bring restoration. Where there is silence, bring reconciliation. Let their children and grandchildren see the power of a life fully surrendered to you. Father, I pray against every spirit of fear, doubt, and discouragement that has been whispering lies in their ears. I break the power of depression, anxiety, and loneliness in Jesus' mighty name. Where the enemy said, "You're done," let your spirit declare, "You're just beginning." God, give them dreams again. Restore their vision. Reignite their passion. Remind them that age is just a number, but anointing is eternal. Let them wake up tomorrow with fire in their bones, purpose in their hearts, and unstoppable faith in their spirits. And Lord, for every trap that was set against them, I pray you would turn it into a testimony. Let every attack become a sermon. Let every struggle become a strength. Let every battle become a blessing that encourages someone else who's fighting the same fight. Protect them as they walk forward. Send your angels to guard their steps. Give them discernment to recognize divine opportunities and wisdom to avoid spiritual ambushes. Let their obedience in small things prepare them for massive breakthroughs. And Father, when they feel alone, remind them that they are part of a family. Thousands of chosen ones around the world, standing together, praying together, believing together. We are not isolated warriors, we are a mighty army. I thank you, God, that the best is yet to come, that the final chapters will be the most glorious, that what you're doing in this stillness will result in movement that shakes nations. In the powerful, matchless, all-sufficient name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Now, beloved, I need you to do something for me. In the comments below, I want you to share just one word that describes how you're feeling right now after hearing this message. Don't overthink it. Let your spirit speak. Whether it's hopeful, broken, ready, overwhelmed, or grateful, just type it. Let this community surround you with prayer. And if you have a specific prayer request, if there's something heavy on your heart that you need this family to intercede for, share it. Don't carry it alone. We will lift you up. We will stand in the gap. That's what family does. If this message touched your soul, if you felt God speaking directly to you, I'm asking you to do two things. First, hit that like button. It tells YouTube that this message matters, and it helps us reach more people who desperately need to hear it. Second, and this is important, share this video. Send it to that friend who's struggling. Post it in your church group. Email it to your sister who's been discouraged. Because somebody in your circle is walking toward a trap right now, and this message could be the warning that saves their destiny. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, Click that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell. Every single week, we're releasing messages specifically designed to encourage, equip, and empower God's chosen ones. You belong here. This is your community. This is your family. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. Thank you for opening your heart. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. That tells me everything I need to know about your spirit. You're hungry for truth. You're desperate for breakthrough. And you're ready for everything God has prepared. Remember, chosen one, the trap was real, but God's protection is greater. The stillness is temporary, but the resurrection is coming. And you are exactly where you're supposed to be, right on time, fully equipped, and deeply loved. Walk carefully, trust completely, and know that your best days aren't behind you. They're dead ahead. Until next time, stay strong, stay faithful, and keep minding your own business while God minds His. The blessing is coming, and so is your breakthrough.